to the common misconceptions in purchasing work platforms for rotorcraft manufacture and maintenance. I'll be your host and moderator, Chad. With Spika Design, I handle sales and logistics. I will go around the table here and invite everyone to introduce themselves and their role with the company as well. Tom, why don't we start with you?
Hi, I'm Tom Spika. I founded the company 2001. Have worked through much of the design processes and so on over the years, and now I'm kind of stepping back into more of an advisory role. Still working a little bit on new product design and some of our outreach to our customers.
Hey, thanks, Tom. Katie?
I'm Katie Spika. I am the CEO here.
Thank you for joining us. And Becky?
I'm Becky Spika, the Director of Sales and Marketing.
And last but not least, Shannon.
Shannon Ria, Director of Design, Engineering, and Drafting.
Great. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Tom, I'd like to kind of kick off with, you mentioned being the founder of the company. As a company that's been in business for 20 years and continually progressing in what we have to offer all of our customers, can you kind of set the stage for us with what brought you into the maintenance platform world, and better yet, what is making a maintenance platform better than a lanyard access?
Yeah, that's I could talk for a long time on those two topics, but when we started, I had the opportunity to spend time within primarily military aviation hangars and kind of observe the way things are being done in those facilities, and it's kind of discovered that there were a lot of poorly designed access systems that they had there. Many of them were old and pretty evident to me that they didn't comply with OSHA's current regulations, but there were newer ones that they had, but were just not well designed. They had a lot of limitations, very basic. It looked like over the 40 years previous, they really hadn't changed much in what a maintenance platform was for their aircraft. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, we could really make a much better product that really served them well and could be very competitive on price for what they were paying for new systems, but actually give them something that was going to work much better, last longer, address some of the challenges and the problems that they saw with existing systems. So really our company launched specifically addressing the particular needs of military aviation maintenance. And that was a pretty specific focus, and primarily within that was the Rotorcraft. We worked almost exclusively in the beginning with Apaches and Chinooks and Black Hawk helicopters that had a lot of need for upper level access for daily maintenance and for phase maintenance. And so when we started designing these products, it took a little bit to get our foot in the door. Being the new kid on the block, our customers didn't recognize us. They didn't know if they could trust who we were. You're making a big purchase, we're talking at that time, $60,000, $70,000 for a phase system, or $8,000 or $10,000, $12,000 for a daily stand. They didn't know if they should take a chance. So it took a little while to get our foot in the door, but they did recognize that we were offering something a little bit different than what the rest of their offerings were at that time. And over the first probably 6 or 8 years, we introduced so many new features into what maintenance platforms were, and started really becoming more of what the user was needing and would find valuable. We really weren't looking for bells and whistles, but we were looking for things that we could show to a user and they would say, wow, that's going to save me time, or wow, that's going to really help me to get where I need to be. And it was a fun time to grow because there were so many places that we could improve on what was out there. And over the years, I can actually say I feel we played a big role in changing what the expectations of a of a work stand and a maintenance platform should be, because of the features that we started building into ours. Now, as we progressed, we started getting attention from other entities within the DoD, basically all of the branches of the services, in their flying asset maintenance as well as tactical vehicle maintenance. And that in itself led to moving into foreign military markets that were using the same or similar equipment for their aviation. They started seeing what we were offering and wanting to bring that into their facilities. So we started moving into a more of a worldwide market. We started moving toward the manufacturers, and of course the big reset facilities like Corpus Christi Army Depot that wanted more specific stands for their particular unique application that wasn't necessarily standard maintenance, but either completely rebuilding or in initial manufacturing. So our company really started growing into a lot more things that were related to our initial offering, but becoming much more expanded. And now over the years, we've branched that into so many industries that have found the need for the type of product that we've got.
Tom, what would be the benefit, in your opinion, of the maintenance platforms that Spika has been building and designing as opposed to a lanyard type system?
Oh, there's a lot. Now, lanyards definitely have their place, and there's certain applications, certain areas that you need to reach that they make the most sense. But there are so many that they've been used in that just complicate things. Being attached to a tether can be very limiting, and it will a lot of times really complicate the maintenance or the access procedures that the users are undertaking. And so it makes the job more difficult and it takes more time. And because of that, they tend to not want to use them. And a lot of times, if nobody is looking, they won't. It's just too complicated, too time consuming, too awkward to use them. And so with our systems, we've always wanted to design them to where they made the user's life easier. It helped them to really do their job faster and quicker and with less effort on their part, which made them want to use our stands. So in the majority of cases, you can put an access stand up to the area you're wanting to reach and have very good coverage of it, very safe coverage where there's zero chance of falling off of it, and yet you're not bound to a certain limited reach of what the tether will allow you. And there's no prep time, there's no inspection time of making sure all your equipment's working right, there's no training time of how you're supposed to use this. It's you push it up there, lock it down on the floor, and you use it. So it's really superior in so many ways to a fall arrest or fall restraint system.
Great, thank you, Tom. Shannon, I'd like to come to you now and ask you, even Tom mentioned adapting and our ability to continually come up with new designs to meet the customer's needs, and for that, whether it be a particular aircraft or access need they need on whatever equipment it is. I know the company over the years has evolved and realized that there's different challenges even within the same aircraft to be able to meet, depending on what level of maintenance they're conducting, what additional add-ons, as in a missile pod they may have on an aircraft at the time that they're conducting the maintenance. Can you walk us through some of those changes that we've done for, say, the Black Hawk and whether they need cab entry or not while they're doing the maintenance and the platform is in place?
Yeah, sure. So often we've had our line of what we like to call kind of what we've set as a standard use, but quite often you get users coming in saying, well, in my unique circumstance, I actually have this going on. And rather than say that's not, typical or standard to us, we work to accommodate that by modifying our designs and coming up with what are very unique solutions applicable to them and possibly others if others are doing the same type of work. Very common one would be the type of work done on, I believe, the Blackhawk. We have implemented into our standard design a two-use method just by simply letting you attach your leg in a different location in order to get into the cab or work on the landing gear. Something that simple is something that we will listen to the user and implement into our designs. And then in the end, hopefully provide accommodating features to others as well. So really actively listening to the user and finding what they need rather than saying, here's what we're giving you. I think that's a big part of our advantage to helping them get the best access at all times.
Absolutely. And you mentioned that, listening to the customers, and I know, Becky, that's a big part of your responsibility as well as mine when we're getting that initial call from the customer and trying to assess their needs. And it would be very easy for a company such as us. We have a plethora of COTS style platforms, but it's not necessarily a one size fits all. I'm interested to hear kind of your take on getting that initial call from the customer and trying to understand their needs. What are you looking for information wise from that individual that's calling you that can assist you to ensure that they get the best product they can?
The best way to understand their true access need for me is to be able to see it if possible. So if our customers are able to share videos of their team actually performing the task, we can see what kind of maybe space constraints they're up against, what they're currently using that's just awkward or causing them to take extra steps, any type of obstacles that may exist. As you guys were discussing, there just may be different attachments or something to their aircraft or whatever equipment they're accessing that is different than we would expect. So as much visual material that they can share with us as possible is great. So, but a lot of the common issues that we run up against are basically space constraints. That's a big deal for a lot of hangars especially, but other facilities that just have a bunch of equipment crammed into probably an older building, and they just are trying to make it work inside the space that they have. So I would say typically the more we can see with what they're doing, the better we can understand their challenges and provide them with the best solution.
Great. And I agree with that. It's interesting to me to, from my perspective in the calls I get, is any visuals that they are able to provide certainly are beneficial for us, but also just hearing the plethora of different ideas that they have for not only what they're accessing and needing a platform for that we may not have thought of, but are happy to work with them on, but also just understanding what their maintenance is like in their particular hangar, because everybody does things a little different. Kate, I'm going to come to you with what brings you to the table on these requests and what we're outputting to the customer, and what does that mean to you to be able to back that up as a representative for this company?
It's a really good question. I'm always just super proud of our team and the way they're able to take care of our customers and the way they treat them. For us, reputation is everything. We built ourselves, our company, in the Department of Defense and have a very special place in our heart for them. And so it's really important that we keep evolving to meet their changing needs. They're in a world that's pretty rapidly changing, and we want to be able to achieve that too. So it's important to me that our team, you and Becky, are listening to the new needs of the customers and making sure that we're never static and just sticking with what we've always done, but that we are evolving with them to continue to be a partner and keeping them safe and keeping them, productive and efficient and happy.
What can you tell me about where cost justification factors into the cost of maintenance platforms?
Sure. So maintenance platforms are one of the more expensive options often. You have a larger upfront purchase, especially if there's if you want to maybe have electric actuation, or you have a real funky environmental needs that have to be accommodated. But it's one time. It's a one-time purchase, and you don't have to do, essentially no maintenance, no training. We build ours with a 10-year warranty, and so we're committing that they are going to work for you at least 10 years without any required effort or upkeep. And so it's a one-time purchase and you're done, and it's going to keep working for you for 10 years or 20 years, 30 years, or however long you need it. And so also, you can also consider the cost of injuries, or people being out of work because maybe they got hurt, or something happened, using different equipment. You can put all of that into your ROI calculator, but essentially just the cost of having a hassle-free, easy work environment pays off pretty quickly compared to anything else that's going to take regular maintenance, training, inspection, upkeep.
Shannon, from a design standpoint, what is the most critical information that you're looking for to try to ensure that the model that you're creating is going to fit what that customer needs?
Well, it really depends, I guess, on what is available. In our experience with Rotorcraft, that's a more difficult area. We are usually relying on models that we acquire ourselves when working with general industry. And those usually just help us visualize to ourselves and the customer like where their product's going to fit and how it's going to look against an actual visualization. Those are usually the best. Otherwise, we can often work with pictures, sketches. Napkin sketches are great. Anything that the user can visualize maybe an end goal of what they want to get at, or say, here's what I'm working with. The more detail and the more stuff that we can start with, we always can provide a better solution. And we typically can provide models ourselves that users can utilize in their own environments, and bring in 3D models and check them if they really want. But we also provide pretty detailed drawings and sketches of our concepts that are our best proposed solutions to what they bring us. So giving that information, we can let people look at it and get a feel for what the solution that we might be able to provide is. But it's always the more details brought in and the more upfront work probably on the customer's end, probably the easier we can provide a working solution the first time that kind of captures all the aspects of the design.
Great. All right. Tom, I'm going to come back to you for a moment. What is your thought on, I know there's, over the years, we've done a lot of changes to our designs. We continually kind of upgrade them, as has been mentioned. And I'm wondering, some of those, I think of our tail boom stands. How did those designs come to be? And what is the interface with those for our support?
That it kind of ties in with what Shannon was saying. So many of our improvements in designs, plus the new introduction of new offerings, have come directly from the customers, and we've really listened to what their needs are. So when we got into, like you're talking, the tail boom supports or shoring stands or things like that, we weren't really that familiar with them, and so obviously we had to go to where the knowledge was, and we would work directly with these various customers that would provide us with that specific information, give us access to, like, the factory specs on where your support points were for shoring stands, or the heights that they really wanted to have them for ideal working and things like that. So these things were all derived from the field, from the information that's out there, and that continues to be a big part of our design side, is working with the customer to find out exactly what is going to make this ideal for them. And that's that close interaction between our design team and the end user that really understands the problem well is so critical when you're purchasing something. I mean, whether it's our system or somebody else's, you need to have that close relationship with the one that's designing what you're going to be using, because without that, there's nobody knows your needs like you do.
I agree, and I think you nailed it there when you said that connection with the users. No matter what the application is, to get that information from them and allow them to drive where they know where they're accessing. They know what levels they need to be at when they're elevated in the air, and to be able to get that information from them, have them present that to us is really the most beneficial thing that we can receive. So we know we're meeting the needs that they need to access. So, Kate, I'd like to turn to you, and if you could share what's the company's direction moving forward? Where does Spika want to go from here?
Like I said earlier, the world, the industry is evolving so rapidly, and so we want to be there to support the customers doing great things in the world. You know, building our future, whether it be in defense or in you know, the aerospace industry. Just making sure that we're there to help keep people safe and keep them productive and support them in achieving the amazing things that they're doing in the world.
Great. Chad, one of the things that I'm excited about, along what Katie's saying, is the new introduction of the Space Force. Our company has played quite a role in the space industry over the past few years in supplying very specialized platforms for that. And I really see Spika in the future being a natural source for the new aircraft and vehicles and processes within the new branch of the military, as well as within new aircraft and equipment that are being introduced into the other branches. So, you know, even though we do a tremendous amount with general industry, defense requirements are going to always be something that we really specialize in, and we evolve with those branch requirements. And so the future looks really interesting and exciting.
Agreed. There's a lot still coming up, and you know, we don't want to sit still and be complacent. We want to drive the consistency of meeting safe access to whatever the equipment is that people are using. And when that's all, in this case, a whole new branch of military, then you know, Spika wants to be a partner with that and assist everybody in staying safe while they're working on their materials. Becky, do you have any last words you'd like to share?
I just would like to add that we absolutely love working with anybody in the military. They've been a really strong partner to us, especially as we were getting our company off the ground in the early 2000s. But as we have continued to grow, they've grown with us, and we just really appreciate working with them and being able to help them out.
That's great. And yeah, I would echo that in that the company, you know, Spika would not be where we're at today without the assistance from not just the military, but all of our customers and their willingness to help us get where they need to be. Well, we thank everyone for being with us today. This was a fun little round table discussion, or round computer discussion as it is. So thank you everyone for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you.